Peace and balance. What's up, little stars? Mystique Moon here. So y'all, I'm just coming on here extremely open, cut, dry, to the point, all over the place, all that shit at the same time. I didn't prepare anything for this video. I wanted to just vent. I have been in a funk these last 2 days. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day kind of sucked for me. I don't celebrate it for real, but like I have to kind of somewhat get in the spirit of it because I have children, and at a very young age I raised them up on that tradition. As I got older and I opened up my eyes and realized what it was for real, now I'm kind of slowly showing them different options in life. I don't want to completely strip them away from it because it's not fair. So that's kind of where we're at, where I'm at with it. But even then, with that being said, I still felt a little bit of depression because, as y'all know, I'm here in Texas by myself. Like, I have no real family here, and it gets really depressing when there's that time of the year where people just spend, you know, it ain't just Christmas. It's like around like July, June, July, stuff like that. You kind of feel that family energy coming on. A lot of them, we get together with our family and kick it and do whatever it is. Your tradition is in your tradition. Well, I wasn't able to do that this year, and it sucked. It sucked. And I'm grateful because I was with my baby girls, and that is always a vibe. But at the same time, it's just like I felt funky. I missed my family, and I felt stagnant and stuck at the same time. And it kind of sucked. But as I'm landing this funk, what tends to happen is, y'all, especially people who go through bouts of depression, something will trigger that depression, and it'll start trickling a whole bunch of other things downstream. If you know what I mean. It's like a domino effect. One domino knock over, and then all of them just start just knocking over, and then you just like, damn, why am I even thinking about this shit? But that's the power of depression if you allow it to have power over you. But there are moments, if I'm gonna be honest, and if we can be honest, where even the strongest of us fall in weak times. Even the strongest of us with the strongest mind and the greatest power and the greatest gifts, even sometimes we succumb to that strong emotion of sadness and depression. And maybe it's only for a second. Maybe it's only for a moment, but it still happens. And I have to be perfectly honest with you. I don't believe in emotional suppression. I don't believe in that. I think that a lot of people who go through so many down moments, so many depressive moments, is because they suppress a lot of those, you know, moments and memories and feelings and stuff like that. And you don't allow yourself to actually feel those things. I often tell people, especially on my YouTube channel, that if you are going through some feelings of sadness, low vibration, anger, depression, don't try to mask it for something else. Call that bitch out. I'm sad in this moment. I feel depressed. I feel this. I feel that. And stay away from people who try to play off of your emotions, and stay away from people who try to like throw your shit off as if you should not be feeling that way, because those are the people that would really keep you in that dark place. You know, they won't allow you to freely express your emotions, but call them out. And so like me, I was feeling sad as hell. And then I started thinking about all of the things I didn't complete in this year. I started to think about all the failed relationships in this year. I started to think about all of the goals and the dreams that I set myself that I never even fulfilled this year. All these plans that I had at the beginning of the year or throughout the year, and I didn't even come close to completing one of them. I started thinking about all that shit. I started thinking about, then it rolls over from that to the physical. I started looking at myself feeling not so pretty. I start to look at myself feeling like I wasn't a good mom. Y'all, this happens. Those thoughts roll over, and then those negative thoughts kind of take precedent over the positive thoughts. And this is where I was in the last 2 days. But I pushed myself through it because I had a greater purpose, and the greater purpose was my kids. But I'm not going to fucking front and lie to you. Like, it was hard. It was hard to sit in those thoughts and sit in those emotions. And as much as we like to, when we're having those bouts of depression or those bouts of sadness or anger or whatever they are, it's so hard for us to combat the negative thoughts with the positive thoughts. It's so hard to do this. Really, I don't like to use the word hard. It's really challenging to do that. The reason that I do not succumb to depression, y'all, 2 reasons. The first reason is, and again, this is just us talking. I'm not trying to do what I usually do. I'm just being honest. The first reason that I do not succumb to depression is because right before those thoughts come, I quickly identify what's bringing them on. Sometimes, especially us with anxiety and stuff and like real depression, deep depression, it don't always have to be a trigger. Sometimes you could just fall into that space. I often fall into anxiety for no reason at all. No reason. There could be nothing happening. I'll just be chilling somewhere, and all of a sudden the anxiety come on, and then I'm fighting a panic attack. You know, and I know people that really suffers from depression, and it does not have to be triggered or onset by anything. It can literally be just that mind, where your mind just fucking with you and playing tricks on you. But before it onset for me, and I get to that point where I'm ready to give up, where I'm ready to throw in the towel and be like, you know what, I'm done with all this shit. I'm over it all, because I have gotten there. But for the most part, I stop myself by changing my thought process. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and glamorize shit and trying to make it better than what it is. There are some moments where I can completely change my mindset, like, no, hell no, we not doing this. And I'm talking to my inner self, like I'm literally having this conversation with myself, and I'm like, we're not doing this today. We're not doing this today. We're going to watch a funny movie. We're going to go outside. We're going to ground. We're going to meditate. We're going to go cook dinner. I'm going to call my friends. I'm going to do something, because what my mind is trying to do is play tricks on me. And I'm not going to allow that to happen. I went through a lot of my life dealing with trauma, disappointment after disappointment. So the negativity, I pull it in easier than I pull in the positivity. For an example, there can be an amazing thing happening to me in the moment. And rather than see that and focus in on that, sometimes my mind goes into, damn, do I really deserve it? Damn, this ain't really happening to me. I can't really be happy for myself, because as soon as I allow this happiness to come, something fucked up is going to come, and it's not real. Like, my mind does that shit. It plays tricks on me. And I promise you, if you're listening to this and you identify this, it's not real. Our mind, because and I don't know the psychological, medical term for it or whatever. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist, none of that shit. All of what I know is about self-reflection and prayer. So listen to me, don't listen to me. If it resonates, cool. I always say that to people, because, some people need to look at it from a scientific, medical place. So, you know what I'm saying? So if that's you, then this is what I got for you. But our mind does play those tricks when we've suffered through trauma throughout our life and whatever. And it's so easy for us to go to the negative. I admit that I go to the negative. And because I admit that shit and I'm accountable of my actions and of my mind and how my mind flow with that, I often have to say, okay, we're not doing that. We're not going to the negative. We know that the easiest thing that you pick out, Mystique, is the negative. So we're not going to go to the negative. We're not going to go straight to the negative. We're going to see this moment for what it is. It don't have to be your happiest. It don't have to be your highest. We're just going to sit here, park and lot that negativity, because it's not real. So we're going to park a lot. We're going to deal with it, because we don't sweep feelings under the rug, but we're going to move over here, and we're going to move into the space of just being. I don't have to perform. I don't have to explain. I don't have to try. I don't have to push forward or backwards, go over. I don't have to do shit. I'm just going to exist in this moment right here, right now. I'm going to go and I'm going to do something that's going to take my mind away from this negative feeling. Because I know that probably more likely tomorrow I won't be feeling like this. This is that bout of negativity, that bout of depression, that bout of sadness that come. And so I quickly switched my thought process. That works about 80 or 85% of the time, because I am starting to self-reflect. I'm starting to understand how my mind works now. I'm really researching myself. Y'all, I have a video on my channel called Research Yourself. And I'm really big on researching yourself, because once you like awaken your mind and your spirit, you think differently. But I've learned that for me, those bouts of sadness and bouts of loneliness don't last long. Maybe for some people it do. But I knew that if I said, okay, I'm going to switch gears and I'm going to take my mind off this, then I'll be good tomorrow. And most of the time it works. Now, if tomorrow comes and I'm still in that space, I'm like, okay, then it's something deeper. Let me continue to research myself. But that's one way that I kind of like get out of that space. And I was able to do that this weekend. I quickly identified the fact that I was missing my family. I kind of felt a little alone, and I just wasn't feeling it. And it had nothing to do with anything else. I had an amazing time with my boyfriend before these 2 days. And then I had an amazing time with my kids at Christmas Eve. And on Christmas Day, I was just chilled. I was just laid back, like chilling yesterday. But yeah, I knew that it was because I was missing my family, my mom and my sisters and the people that make me feel warm inside. However, the other thing that I do to get out of that when my mind is going to that depressive state is I go back, and those moments of happiness, those moments of joy, those moments of contentment, those moments where I was proud of myself, I go back to those recorded moments. Now, again, I don't know how y'all record y'all moments. And sidebar, if you're anything like me, then you're watching this video, because people attract who they are, what they are. And you suffer from these moments of fucked upness. We'll say that, because I don't want to put a real label on it and people be saying all kind of stuff. But if you suffer from low vibrational emotions or moments, just know that it can be handled. It can be dealt with. And the best way that you can deal with them is remember those times where you were most happy. Not just what it was that made you happy. Remember the feeling. Remember the joy. And remember that you can get that back. You can recreate that. It can happen again. It will happen again. It could be it's the feeling that you had in those moments that you hold on to and say, I remember what that felt like. So this sadness, this depression, this feeling of not wanting to go on, this feeling of being low, so low to the point where I can't even try to think of nothing happy. You remember that feeling. Remember what it felt like. Remember how your body felt. Remember how your stomach felt. Remember how your energy felt. Remember your vibrations. Remember the smile that was on your face. Like, remember all those things and know that that's you. So if you've experienced that emotion then and before, you can experience it again, and you will experience it again. So that's the other way that keeps me out of that depressive state. It's realizing and remembering that this is not my dominant frequency. I'm not always here. This isn't my life. There are times where I feel high and there are times where I feel low. And remembering that, honoring that, and respecting that has literally got me through. Maybe there are somebody out there that kind of was in the same space I was, and slowly trying to figure out how to get out of that place of darkness, get out of that place of sadness. Sometimes we have to spend some times in that darkness, not a long time, but we have to spend some time in the darkness, because it's in the darkness, in the darkest of times, that you really figure out and learn who you are. Thank you for staying. Thank you for listening. And we'll talk later. Remember that self-preservation is the first law of nature. Love yourself before you love anything, anybody else in this world. And remember to lead with your heart chakra, and everything else will soon follow. Until next time, my loves. Peace out.